Call the meeting to order. If we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of minutes that we need to approve. We can do the March 12th, the 10 a.m. meeting minutes first. A motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple of corrections. Maggie made a motion to approve the debt service instead of accept. And I would like to see the actual year spelled out instead of apostrophe 17, 18. I think it'd be more clear just to say 2017. And then in the paragraph that says capital plan, third line down, about 2/3 of the way over, it says we will keep it, should be it, in for now, instead of in. And then the next line down, it's field irrigation, not irrigation. And then I think it should be minutes taken by Barbara Bertrand, just to, for the record, so we know where the minutes came from at the end. That's it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting on the same date, March 12th at 6 p.m. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion?
Yep. Tanya Moriarty's first name is with a J, not a Y, just for the record. And then it should be noted someplace here that I mentioned that we should contract with an emergency notification system like Everbridge, like we used to.
We have Everbridge.
The town has an Everbridge contract?
Yep.
So we just didn't use it during the last few snowstorms?
No, we didn't use it during the last snowstorm, but we do have Everbridge through Valley Shore.
That should at least be noted then that I said that in the minutes. When I asked if we had Everbridge before,
I told you we had a system, and I said it that night. We had a system through Valley Shore, wasn't sure of the name of it, and they referred to it as Connecticut Alert, but that is what Everbridge is. It's the same thing.
so the town is able to use the Everbridge system?
Yep.
Well, we haven't used it yet.
Yep.
That are overall.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have quite a few refunds. As I had mentioned at the beginning of the year, for tax refunds, a lot of people prepaid their taxes to take advantage of the deduction that was going away. So there is in real estate transactions $76,415.10 in refunds for people who had escrowed their taxes and then had paid them separately, so those are refunds going back. And another additional $143.39 under motor vehicle. So there was a grand total of $76,558.49 to be made in tax refunds effective March 26th of 2018. So I have a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Discussion? Sure. What is real estate last name CoreLogic centralized refunds?
It is the escrow account of how the funds come in that need to get refunded out, and they're all identified, the property owners, by their bill number.
Is that sufficient enough to have just the bill number?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to see the actual names on there, but it's a motion on the floor. I will vote no.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Shannon's report came to us a little late after the last meeting. She was waiting on the numbers for meals for CRT, the senior center. Obviously, snow in February affected, they were open 18 days. They had activities scheduled as normal. presentations of people coming in. At the meal site, there were 168 meals served. And in the month of February, 263 meals were delivered to homebound seniors, but I don't think that's our number. I think that's a total CRT number. So that is not for the town of Haddam. For miles driven by the senior van driver, there was a number 905 miles, and there were a total of 68 passengers that traveled. I'm going to actually have to go back to, well, that actually would make sense. Yeah, that is actually for Haddam. 168 meals for February through CRT at the meal site, and then a total with Meals on Wheels of 263 meals. So that's Shannon's report. All right, we have new business. We have a resolution, or I have a resolution that I need approval to sign for a bar grant. It's a brownfield area-wide revitalization grant. Liz Glidden, I saw come in, she's here. Our town planner, Liz, if you can give us a little bit of detail on this grant so that we can have some discussion about it, that would be great.
Sure. For the record, I'm Liz Glidden, town planner. The bar grant is a grant that is hosted by DECD, State of Connecticut, and it's for up to $200,000 of planning money for an area, and the idea is to link various brown fields together. So we are proposing to use it in Haddam to link together the DOT garage, possibly HES as it becomes vacant, the Rossi site, Haddam Cove, and create an implementation plan for that area. So they would be looking at infrastructure, including sewers, sidewalks, branding opportunities, marketing opportunities, and opportunities for economic development. And also whether or not the TIFs, which is tax incremental financing, would work for us in Haddam. So the grant has a 10% match, and we are requesting a grant of $165,000, and so our match would be around $16,000.
Okay, so when the paperwork got drafted for last week, you just found out that change of 165 today,
It just,
correct?
yeah, and it did just change today.
So our paperwork states it's $150,000. That needs to be changed to $165,000. The 10% match would be obviously still 10%. Would change that number to 16.5. So can I have a motion to approve me signing this resolution to apply for this bar grant in the total of $165,000?
Yeah, I'm gonna make that motion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think I've attended all of their meetings, but I'm just curious if the Board of Finance has appropriated the 10% match.
It would not go in until next year. We need to go to we would have to ask the Board of Finance for that if the
But-
grant was approved.
This, though, is authorizing us appropriating 10% as the match. I think we're kind of backwards. I think we need to make a, send to the Board of Finance a request for an appropriation of 16.5 for them to at least appropriate that. Then we can go forward with this, because this is obligating us to pay 10%. The Board of Selectmen does not have the authority to appropriate funds.
So traditionally, the Board of Selectmen votes on it, approves it, and then it's sent to the Board of Finance for their approval.
That's backwards for a match grant.
That's how it's been done.
When was this done like this?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
For what it's worth,
You can
and
say
I
whatever
apologize,
you
I'm
need
coming
to.
to you late. The grant's due tomorrow at 3.
course.
It wasn't my intention to come to you 24 hours before it was due, but the way that your schedule worked and my understanding of the resolution, so unfortunately, it's tonight, or not at all, so.
So I'm going to reiterate some of the conversation that I had with Liz earlier on this. This is one of the very rare times that there is an actual planning grant that is available. As we know, grants are probably going to start to go by the wayside due to the economic conditions with the state of Connecticut. I think it's a good opportunity for us to invest in our village. And with the deadline being what it is, it will go to the Board of Finance. And I'm happy to follow the procedures that we always follow. And I think it's something that we should support.
I have no problem supporting the grant. I think it's a great grant. It's just, it's backwards. And I understand grant deadlines. I've been there myself. But again, any grant with a match, we do not legally have the authority to do any of this.
So, for the record, Melissa, can I ask then, how was the money for Dublin Hill Bridge grant signed and for that bridge work without going to the Board of Finance for that?
That's a
And
capital
we're just doing
expenditure.
that now.
This is not a capital expenditure.
But why wasn't it done initially when you signed the paperwork back in 2015, and now we're bringing this to the Board of Finance to be able to fund it, when initially, when it was done back then, the Board of Finance didn't know about it? There's
All
plenty
the
of
road projects are
grants.
capital expenditures. This is a grant. You are obligating the town for a 10% match
Yeah.
of an amount.
And with the road, we were obligating the town to spend 20% on roads. I don't see any difference of what the town's obligation is.
It was in the capital plan.
It was not in
And
the
also
capital
in the
plan.
bonding plan.
It was not in either.
Well, the bonding plan you completed after that I started.
I started, there is no bonding for Dublin Hill Bridge.
No, because the process was started in September. And then, obviously, the election happened in November. That's a totally different project.
It doesn't matter, it's still notifying the Board of Finance. So what I've done is that we have a discussion as a Board of Selectmen, we refer it to the Board of Finance. I've included the Board of Finance in every decision that we've made with every grant and every funding opportunity. I believe we easily can find $15,000 in order to get this grant going. And if we can't, then we'll rescind on it, we won't accept it.
It's not about the money. The Board of Finance knew and knows about the Dublin Hill Bridge.
They
That
do
was-
now.
That was a conversation I had many times. In fact, it was on the road sheet that was presented to them in September, October 2015, that I showed them that they all of a sudden forgot about, that you said was not in existence. So I'll go back to my original statement that this is not legally a decision that we can make. We can finally, we can vote on it. There's a motion on the floor, if that's how you want to proceed.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And abstain. Thank you.
Okay, the next piece of business is for tax abatement. There's a letter written by the tax collector. It seems that there was a town meeting that was held back in November of 2010 for the town to accept property on Killingworth Road that was donated to the town by Kim Trulson. For whatever reason, the town attorney at that time, Bruno Morisuti, did not transfer the deed of the property going from Trulson to the town. So taxes were accrued from May 31st, 2012. That should not have been accrued for her, and therefore they have, there's interest on those and lien fees that were, as of March of 2018, there's a correction that needs to be made. This is something that the tax collector, now that she's not by herself in the office, has time to work on and clean these things up. So we need to make a motion to abate taxes of property that was owned by Kim Trulson from 2005 to 2011 because of this error being made. The town was the rightful owner of the property since November of 10th of 2010. So these interest and charges that are being held for her are in error, which total $19,847.83. So if I can have a motion to approve the abatement of these taxes so it can clear up the record for her, it would be a move in the right direction.
I'll make that motion
Any
for
discussion?
847.83.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion to adjourn, please.
Yes, I make that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.